In Kaupr, we are right now doing a spotlight on the scene in Sweden, and what is then more natural to welcome Blockchain Sweden to the floor. Thank you, Erik and Zarina.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
And you have to tell the viewers who you are and what is your position, what are you in the Blockchain Sweden, and also perhaps what you are doing outside of that association. And Zarina, maybe you could start?
Yes, of course. So I'm part of Blockchain Sweden's operational team, and also I'm actually the first employee. So that's a big step for Blockchain Sweden. So I'm project managing the Vinnova project. So that is really exciting. And I'm also focusing on my other time when I'm not working for Blockchain Sweden on tokenomics. So doing some panel discussions and guiding on incentive models and economic design. Yeah, thank you.
Erik?
Yes, so I'm one of the founders of Blockchain Sweden and been involved in the crypto/blockchain space for about 8 or 9 years with some derails in traditional banking, but mostly in crypto. And also board member, have been partially involved. My other day job is that I'm starting a company called Rickport that is building a communication platform for law enforcement and private companies like crypto exchanges to better communicate with one another. That's in short.
We'll get back to the Vinnova project that you mentioned later in the talk, but let's just start on Blockchain Sweden. What is it and why do you have created an organization for this space?
Yeah, in one way it's quite simple. Blockchain Sweden is an industry association like you see other industry association. We have Swedish FinTech Association, we have other type of business associations, and we are doing this specifically for blockchain. And that is to improve the climate for companies involved in blockchain and generally help out in the space. And the backstory is probably goes back 7 or 8 years. It was me and Jonas, another founder, who started to discuss this a long time ago. It existed another organization called Swedish Blockchain Association that started doing stuff but never really went into policy work. And then we started more serious discussions, and then Per came up and organized an event together with the financial market minister. And then we said, like, okay, now we have to do this seriously. And then it took about a year, but then we started the organization about a year ago.
And as I understand, you have different kinds of membership. Even if you're called Blockchain Sweden, you have a variety of members. What kind of members do you have in your organization?
I can start and you can fill it out. So we have first 2 types. We have the members, and then we have advisory members. And then it depends on how big the company is. You get divided into those 2. That's
And yeah, so we have the members are what you would expect. It's blockchain companies working directly. It can be a crypto exchange. It can be a technical provider building blockchain solutions. It can also be different type of service providers working directly with blockchain services. And then the advisory firms, that can be a IT consultancy firm wanting to get into blockchain, or it can be a law firm who are interested in it, where we can see they help out and complement each other. So, and we see a win-win, so to say.
And I reckon that as an association, you are trying to find out what is the challenges for the industry, what are the opportunities, and you make some plans out of it. But if you start on the challenges, what are they for the industry?
Yes, we've had very long discussions regarding this, especially when we were starting the organization, like to really pinpoint what are the challenges. And unfortunately, however you argue about it, you kind of end up with the financial authority. And we have a lot of issues, the challenges with bank accounts, with institutions, larger institutions generally are not very positive about it. And we have a financial authority that is not very, or quite biased about it, and putting out a lot of information, like negative information about crypto and blockchain. And that's, of course, impacts if you work at a bank. You care what the financial authority says. So they are just pragmatic. So that's one challenge. And then another challenge that is more recent, or for the past couple of years, it's more a security risk for people involved. In Sweden, everything is basically public, where you live, how much you make, and we have a problem with organized crime. And some organized criminals are starting to use this. This is not a crypto-specific problem, but it's generally a problem that we see that is for people involved. And so these are the high level, but what we're focusing on are both, but also mainly like the the policy and how we get institutions and larger companies involved in this.
What about the opportunities then?
I just want to add one thing, then I'll leave it over to you, because I don't want to be all negative.
No.
One positive thing is actually on the political side, so the politicians, that is that they're not negative, they're kind of like neutral, with some exceptions where we actually have positive people. So I see a great opportunity for change in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in Sweden, we have since a long time ago a really good step of being at the forefront in technologies like AI. We have really good industry sector as well. So, I mean, all of these are really good industries to look more into blockchain, and these are opportunities that we should, for sure, bring in both in this Vinnova project and also bring into the blockchain scene and see how they can implement and teach them how they can implement blockchain. And that is a huge opportunity to have all of this tech and talent in a country. We just need to make sure that they are, they can use blockchain technology in the best way and teach them how.
If I could add to that, we are building this company from an Oslo position in the beginning, and now we are moving more to be a Nordic company. But when we look at Sweden, we think about fintech, we think about finance, we think about AI, as you say. Yeah. Everything that should point to a plus on this space. So why isn't it happening?
Yeah, it's actually like one of the narratives when I usually talk to like policymakers or others. It's like if we go back at 12 years back in history, we're in 2013, and we see this new technology called Bitcoin. It's financial, it's revolutionary, it's new. And in Sweden, we have, as you mentioned, fintech. We're successful in tech. We have good venture capital and private investment. Like, will Sweden succeed in this? I think everyone would say yes, but that's not really how it played out. We did some innovative things. We were the first with Bitcoin ETPs. So hats off to Nasdaq there. And so we were on the forefront. And then I think it's a quite hard, but I think it's like a political climate. The government agencies not really getting instructed from the politicians, and then it just ended up with a negative sentiment, I would say.
And unsure, if I can add. I think that is the main thing. It's too unsure because they don't really know how should we read MiCA in Sweden. So that gives uncertainty, and of course that makes also a negative sentiment for innovation, unfortunately. And we are working hard to change that.
Yeah, but is it happening? Is it changing? Because if you think about MiCA, as you say, that's a law even in Sweden. And you have a lot of companies in Europe that are experimenting on tokenization. You have now even SEB proposing a euro stablecoin together with 9 other banks. Yeah. So there is a wave here. So how to get those politicians on board then?
I think that they actually approved and gave us this Vinnova grant for blockchain innovation is actually a big step in the right direction. So we should be really pleased on that. And also becoming members in our member organization makes our voice together stronger, so we can talk to the politicians, because MiCA is, as you mentioned, it is a law, but it is applied all over Europe, and it is to each and every member state how to implement it. So there are differences between member states, and we need to...
There are positive aspects with MiCA, like we really see it now. Like one of our main questions has been historically, has been the issues with bank accounts, crypto companies not getting bank accounts. And slowly but surely we see that changing, and I think we need to thank MiCA for that. Sure. And then as our event yesterday, but as SB was there mentioning that MiCA was a prerequisite to be able to do this stablecoin project, of course, because now it's clearly regulated. With that said, though, in the MiCA discussions, in a lot of MiCA discussions, I just want to throw in that it's is not great for bottom-up innovation. So I think we in Europe we will see like a lot of top-down innovation, see banks and like doing very interesting things. It's probably good for price going up, but it's also good for like institutional players and so on. But the bottom-up innovation with like innovative tokenomics and using tokens and using it in games, for etc., that will be hard to do in Europe or expensive. Use lawyers.
So it's a first step, but not the end state.
Yes. Yes.
But you said this Vinnova project. Tell us more about that and how important it is.
Of course. I mean, first of all, we are super, super happy and also grateful because this gives us as an organization really good credibility. So we have been granted 1 million Swedish crowns. The project will start now in November, and then it will go to October next year, and then we have planned another year ahead. But it will be in 2 phases. So the first one is that we map the climate in Sweden. We do surveys and we talk to the industry, and then it will formalize into a report. So that report we can use to spread knowledge in the blockchain space and help other companies. And then the second part is to have workshops and more intimate and direct dialogues with specific targeted industry sectors like AI, the defense, military, supply chains, etc. And I really show them and in a dialogue together with them make really good use cases so it can be implemented in a better way. So we are super happy to start that. And that's great.
So it's going beyond Blockchain Sweden. You're reaching out to the environment and other players in regular industries, or how is that?
Exactly. So that is the really big and good thing that sets Vinnova a little bit apart from Blockchain Sweden as an organization, is that we really welcome companies that are starting to look into how can they use blockchain. So they don't need to have it implemented. They would just like to learn more and be, it's really good to be a part of this, and then they can learn and get a bigger network also in the blockchain space and learn from our members that have already really good use cases. So
So that will be your main task and work going forward, organizing this project?
Yes, for sure. So now we have started. So the work now, as it lays ahead of us, the first month is just to get a good outreach, to spread the word, make a lot of industries and companies interested in taking part of this project. And then we start with the survey, mapping the climate, etc.
You guys, you also have, last year I think, you made an industry report. You asked companies about all these challenges and opportunities, and you are doing a new survey right now so people can fill out the form, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any expectations regarding the results from those? Is the climate changed for the last year?
You want to start?
For sure. I mean, it is not really finalized yet, so I just want to start with that. But our main expectation is actually to see how it has changed. Is it going in a better direction, or is it getting worse? So that is the main takeaway we want to collect with this survey. But we will see what the result shows. Hopefully, it has taken a turn to the better terms. Fingers crossed.
And going forward, what can companies, startups do? Can they join your association? What are the prerequisites to do it? And how many members do you have at the moment?
Currently, we have 17 members, and now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 11 of those are ordinary members, so directly working with blockchain, and the otherwwise are advisory members. And so both, like, if you want to become a member, like we would like that. So both if you're directly working with crypto or blockchain, but also if you're advisory and you want to get into this space, because it's a very easy way to get into the center of the blockchain industry in Sweden. With that said, with Vinnova, we're looking for even broader. Are you a person at a larger corporate? It can be in a bank. It can also be at a company like Ericsson or something like that. Interested in blockchain or like know anything about it? We would like to discuss in the context of the Vinnova project. Generally like reached out. Like we're very very happy to talk to anyone who's interested in this subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about smaller companies, startups, and maybe also a question about the education situation? Is there a role there for people that want to get into this industry, either as a job or as a founder or as an employee?
Yes, definitely. And I think we, as an industry in Sweden, can do more. Like we are one part. Unfortunately, like we have limited resources, and we want to take one role in like improving the climate, and we need help and more resources to do that, because it's a long road. And then with this, we have Martin Mono-Perez, a professor at KTH, doing a lot of good work, like at KTH, doing research and so on. No, I think it's just the final bullets with capital and ambitious entrepreneurs, and and then I think the ecosystem can really grow. But that's up to ambitious people need to come in and really really work. And I would love to see that. And if we can help in any way, please reach out. And yeah.
What do you guys think that the status will be then after the first year of Vinnova, or in the end of 2026? How is the adoption? How is the knowledge developed? How is the political climate developed? Do you have any guesses?
I mean, it's hard to tell. We can have an ambition, and it's also sometimes hard to change. But the goal and what we're really hoping to strive is just to get the word out about blockchain. How can you use this technology? What are really good use cases for different industries? And come and join us, and you can learn more about it. So that is a really good start. And I think if we can achieve only that in a year, it's a really big win, actually, because we have had blockchain technology for many, many, many years. But still, when you talk to a regular Swede, they don't even know what it is. So if we can achieve that in 1 year, I would be super pleased.
Yeah, and more on the policy and financial front, I think the trend is clear. It has always been there. It's been a bit volatile, I guess. It's been positive and then more negative. But now I think the industry is not small anymore. It's huge internationally. It's a very liquid, big market. I think it's quite ironic almost, when we have BlackRock, we have these huge institutions being pro tokenization, pro Bitcoin, pro that. And then we have the small Swedish banks saying no, we don't like this because of X, Y, and Z. And it's do they think that they are smart people? I just want to say that. I think you understand my point. It's a bit ridiculous, but thanks to this adoption, maybe both within Europe, but also outside Europe, and especially in the US, we see the trend is quite clear, and then that's most likely the rationale why the European banks, as you alluded to in the beginning, like SEB, are going into this, because they see they need to be competitive on a global scale going forward.
So Sweden and the Nordics have to join the party and grab the opportunities.
Yes,
Exactly.
Thank you very much, then.
Thank you, Morten.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to this episode from Kaupr. If you enjoyed the conversation, subscribe to the Future of Finance podcast, available both on-chain and on your favorite platforms. And remember, Future of Finance isn't just a podcast. Sign up for your newsletter to get news, deep dives, and insights, and to be the first to know when new podcast episodes drop. Stay connected with us and never miss an update.